Carey here with Dave Seaman. You can read his work in the Standard Speaker, and you can see him here every week here on Community NEPA News. He's the sports editor at the Standard Speaker. He's been covering Hazleton area high school softball. New coach for this year, Dave. Same results so far, 2-0. They've had to battle back in both games. You covered the game against Emmaus. They were down. This was a walk-off win, right? What really stood out to you early on with this Lady Cougars team?
Yeah, that they never gave up. I mean, the resiliency that they've shown the past few seasons with their returning players, they're never going to get rattled. Despite playing against a good team. First couple times through the lineup, they really didn't hit the ball that well or got timely hits. They made some base running mistakes, and they're sloppy in the field. But when push came to shove, they were ready to battle Emmaus, which is always a tough team in the Lehigh Valley. They got a couple runners on in the last inning, and were able to come through with a big win.
And Dave, there was a sophomore pitcher who came on in that game in relief and performed pretty well down the stretch.
Yeah, Caitlin Catcher, Coach Bob Bertoni has raved about her since the beginning of the season. Not the biggest kid in the world, but biggest heart in the world. Definitely an outstanding athlete in her own right. And she came in a game and was shaky in the beginning, but then after that she settled down and didn't allow a run over her last 2 full innings, and enabled the Lady Cougars to come back with the bats, and that's exactly what they did.
We talked about the Hazleton area high school baseball team, that they had some talent, that Russ Kanzler's coming in to coach at his alma mater, former professional baseball player. Results good there so far too. 2-0 coming into this week, Dave, and the talent was there. I think I read in the articles in the Standard Speaker, it seemed like a few different kids stepping up each time too.
Yeah, in the first 2 games, I said, you look at it, they had 6 different pitchers. Russ said he's not going to abuse any pitchers this early in the season, which is a smart thing to do with the weather, and it's chilly out this early in the season. And they used a total of 6 pitchers against Easton and Stroudsburg, allowed only 1 earned run in those 2 games. And those 2 teams are used to playing in the District 11 tournament too. And to do that on the road in your first 2 games, it says a lot about the arms that you do have and the depth that the Cougars possess this season.
Well, Dave, when I'm going to the Schuylkill League now, when I was talking with Reggie Crawford of the North Schuylkill baseball team and Jada Shellhammer of the Tamaqua softball team earlier when they made their college decisions, both of them just had this gleam in their eye. They were so excited, couldn't wait to get back out there onto the field. Some promising players there, more than promising. They've already proved what they can do. Let's see if they can do their senior years. And Dave, I wanted to talk about the NCAA Final Four. You said you're not surprised Michigan State and Coach Tom Izzo are there back in the Final Four.
No, I mean, he's been one of the top coaches in the country for how many years. Little quote incidents that took place. Coach Izzo was caught on camera yelling at one of his players, and some national media took exception to that, him trying to coach his player. But that's how he's always operated. He's always run a tight ship up there at Michigan State, and I believe how many Final Fours, at least 10 Final Fours that he's gotten to. Won 1 national championship in 2000, and he has a team this year where they've been very resilient as well. I mean, I've had a couple injuries. I have an outstanding point guard in Cassius Winston, and they're a team that's been there, that's played together for several years, and that's the kind of team that Tom Izzo likes. And you look at all these blue blood programs, the Dukes, North Carolina, Kentucky, Kansas, they all lost in the tournament. Who's still standing? Tom Izzo and Michigan State. So right now I'd make them the Final Four favorite, but it's anybody's game right now.
And Dave, I wanted to close with this. I have a quick soundbite from Colin Fagley, Monoy area wrestler, finished 3rd in the AA competition at 195 pounds in wrestling. Went down to do a story with him, Dave, and I just asked him off camera. I was like, how are things going? And he gave me this incredible answer, and then I said, well, I'll ask you again on camera. Here is his response to, how's it going?
I love to be where I'm at in life, and no matter where. So when I was a kid, I loved being a kid. When I was a teenager, now I'm in high school, and I like to appreciate every second. So I never wish a second away, and I never wish a second back. I mean, sometimes I wish I can go back, but you have to stay where you're at. So high school's really fun and not many responsibilities. Just got to show up, do your job, and usually, it's okay. So I really have a lot of fun, but definitely ready to see what's next,
Where did you get this wisdom from?
My grandmother and my mother play an exponential role in who I am, and many more in my family. I mean, very close-knit family, loving and supporting, and teach me new things every day.
Dave, I'm so impressed with all of our local athletes. I mean, they seem so mature. You forget sometimes they're 16, 17, 18 years old, and a lot of wisdom. Are there times you're doing an interview and you just stop and you go, There's some perspective, even for me, some wisdom there.
Yeah, I look at last year after the Hazleton area boys basketball team lost in a heartbreaking fashion to Abraham Lincoln in the state semifinals, lost by 2 points in overtime, a game that could have gone either way. And Joe Grula said, well, it's the end of the basketball season. He said a lot of great memories, but you move on. And, I'm sure there are a lot of people, and I'm sure he was hurting as well. A lot of fans were hurting and everything. It's just like, well, that's why you're doing your job, because you appreciate with the perspective of young athletes, and I think they do have it more sometimes than the adults who follow them, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, Dave, follow him in the Standard Speaker. Also on Twitter, you're at Seaman Says Sport.
You got that right, yes.
All right, so follow him all over the place, and you watch him right here on Community NEPA News every week.